Kirk and
Gavin Hutton.
So we are professional negotiators, and today we're going to give you our view on some movies that we'll watch. The Negotiator, 1998.
No to a hostage taker. It's in the manual. Now, are you going to tell me no again?
No, I'm not.
No, wrong answer. Eliminate no from your vocabulary,
That's like
Farley.
training
Never
exercises.
use no, don't,
How
won't, or
nervous they got.
can't. All right? It eliminates options. The only option that leaves is to shoot someone. Understand?
Yes, I
Yes,
do.
good. See, yes is good.
Yeah, so that's Samuel L. Jackson talking to the Farley, the worst possible negotiator, who's clearly folding under pressure at that time, and he's telling him never say no because it eliminates options. It's in the manual. I've got a little thing about people, especially negotiators or people who go online and say, always say this or never do that, when they come with absolutes which come with the manual, and I think that lacks context. So I understand what he's trying to say. He's saying don't say no because you're closing down options and you narrow down the focus of other people. But sometimes, in the real world, there's time for a reality check. But with all good hostage negotiators, there's many ways we can say no.
Absolutely. Bunches of fives. 5 ways of saying no, which we try and use as many times as we can.
I'll usually say something like, that's going to be tough, that's going to be difficult, so that people can interpret what you're saying. You're saying no without being directly confrontational. So that's what that's about. It's about him teaching Farley something from the manual. It's a bit of a put down, and he's kind of playing with him a bit there, yeah. So I remember that scene in the movie well.
Yeah, and it is just like the training. Farley, nervous, and that's what all the first guys were, wasn't it? Their first time on as a negotiator. All the training we do is with role players who are all negotiators, and the students or whoever it is in the corporate world, they become really nervous, and that's how they react. And that's how we build in pressure, so that when it becomes real life negotiation in the corporate world, they're used to the pressure that we put them under, so they become better negotiators. And how to say no, 5 different ways.
And it is that, so rehearsal is their way out of that, but we understand that when you put people under pressure or stress, your brain ceases to function, right? Because so the logical part of the brain doesn't function when the emotional part is in overdrive. And so we deliberately expose them to that level of stress so that they don't have to think logically, they've just got muscle memory, right? And we can use the bunch of 5s that you were talking about, yeah. It's a great movie. Negotiator movie, on a scale of 1 to 10, it bears no resemblance to reality.
Absolutely.
It's all Hollywood, and it's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Captain Phillips from 2013.
Look at me. Sure. Look at me. Sure. I'm the captain now. You like a bush? Flower?
Yeah, that moment where he says, I'm the captain now, and he takes all of the power away from Captain Phillips. And we've got lots of experience of dealing with Somali pirates. In fact, the Scottish captain of a ship was taken as well, and it bears all of the kind of hallmarks of the reality. For me, that's quite close to reality of what we understand, from we call it a hostage taking, but they're basically taking a vessel, and they're seizing that vessel, and it's a transaction. My own knowledge of the background from the Somali pirates is that they were formerly Somali Coast Guard and were forced into this trade, which allowed them to find money, because at that time the country was collapsing, and these sailors with expertise in boarding ships were using their skills for other things. But that particular movie, really realistic. And I think, the role played by Tom Hanks there, when there's a reality check, and in his eyes you can see, I'm no longer in control of that ship, right? And I think that's, for me, the balance of power movement there is really interesting. And of course he accedes to the demands of the pirates, because he knows it's in the best interest of everyone.
Yeah, and as you said, Derry, the look in his eyes, that's when you see the moment, the penny drops. We're in a situation here, we really are. People are going to die if we don't do it right. And we have got loads of experience in similar situations. But that's probably, that part of that film is probably the closest you'll get to real life, when people realise this is life and death, and we need to look after that.
Well, first of all, you know, we send a team to the home address of the crew and the captain, because usually what happens is the pirates make the captain call home so that they can put pressure on the government or the company to pay the ransom demand, whatever it is they're looking for money. We always try and get a hold of the captain. And I remember, you know, one particular place where we were coaching the wife of the captain of the ship, and he was becoming aggressive and confrontational about this challenge to his ship, because they're very proud people, are captains. And we saw that he was starting to, you know, lose control of his emotions, and we encouraged his wife to try and keep him calm. And I remember she paraphrased our advice, and when she went on the phone, she said, just keep them sweet, just keep them sweet. And I remember at that moment thinking, that's a great way to capture the essence of someone, to get him to play a role.
Yeah.
And she knew how to do that, because it was her husband.
Yeah.
And she knew how to best capture him and keep control of him, and just saying, keep them sweet, darling. And he did. He kept them sweet, and he kept himself and his crew safe by doing that.
Yeah, and that helped the hostage takers to calm down as well. I mean, you saw the clips there. The acting is excellent because they're really calm. They know what they're doing. They know what to say, and it's because things like that are almost on a daily basis over there, or some places, Somalia and Ethiopia and Nigeria. It's almost a way of living for some people, and they'll take ships hostage, or the occupants, but they know how to play it. The families that are taken hostage, they don't know how to play it, and that's where we give the support and the help, because we've been there through as well, to give them the right things to say, and as you said, to calm down not only the hostages that have been taken, but also the hostage takers, to get them to the same level so we can progress.
Yeah, but for them it's just a business transaction.
It's just a business, yeah, absolutely.
A business transaction.
No, Captain Phillips, I've seen it several times. I would give it a good solid 9, I think, out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Pretty close to real life.
Ransom, 1996.
The whole world now knows my son, Sean Mullen, was kidnapped for ransom 3 days ago. This is a recent photograph of him. And Sean, if you're watching, we love you. And this? Well, this is what waits for the man that took him. This is your ransom.
Wait, I want to see this.
$2 million in unmarked bills, just like you wanted. But this is as close as you'll ever get to it. You'll never see $1 of this money, because no ransom will ever be paid for my son. Not one dime, not one penny. Instead, I'm offering this money as a reward on your head. Dead or alive, it doesn't matter.
So that particular scene in the movie clearly depicts Mel Gibson performing the anticipated role that any father would play if their child was kidnapped, and you recognise that the emotional reaction of Mel Gibson does the absolute opposite of what we would want that person to do. They become confrontational. So when you manage a third party intermediary, a TPI, you know they can be a help or a hindrance, usually a hindrance. So it would be anticipated this type of reaction would take place. So clearly he wasn't controlled by a negotiation team or coached by a negotiation team, because, you know, the only harm the hostage takers can do there is to harm his son.
Yeah.
And so he's taking a chance. He's playing a game of poker with that money that's in front of him. And unfortunately for us, we would tell people, don't play poker in a game you can't afford to lose, right? And so that goes against everything that, you know, hostage negotiators would teach people, because it's always in the interest of the potential victim. And right at that point in time, rage has taken over him, and he's not thinking clearly about the impact that they could have on his son. And it's not about money, right? It's obviously not about money at that point. It's about revenge and ego and all of that.
His ego, absolutely. And you can see the police officers that were there listening to it, and obviously it was news to them that he'd done this, and the look of fear in their eyes, just like, oh no, how are we going to recover this? How are we going to recover his son? Never mind anything else. But yeah, as you say, it's just a total change and away from things, and that's why such advice and support is so important, isn't it not?
And that captures the essence of, for me, many of these things when it talks to about communicating with the hostage takers, and that there's a conversation taking place, but you have to always be part of it. And the hostage negotiators, in this instance, are not part of the dialogue.
Yeah.
They've just allowed it to take place, and therefore not only can they not influence, but they've no control over that whatsoever.
And I think that if that happened in real life, I think it would have been a bad result, unfortunately.
Bad outcome.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good Hollywood film. I would give it a 6. Nothing close to real life. Movies, obviously, not real life. It's just there to entertain you. They are good fun to watch, but real life's a bit different. We're there to help you. Yeah.
It's just there for entertainment, but as far as entertainment goes, yeah, they were fabulous. I really enjoyed that.